Welcome to Createful Art. Today I would love to show you how to paint a citrus orange painting. This is just a really fun pattern that's loose and playful. I'm going to show you how to do both ways, more impressionistic and more realistic. And then you can paint based on your own style. If you're loving my videos, just make sure that you hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it so you don't miss out on any more of these videos. It also helps me make more of these tutorials for you to enjoy. So let's start playing with paint. So what you're going to need is a surface to paint on. It can be any size. I'm using a panel and it's an 8x8 inch. You can use a canvas or watercolor paper if you would like. For my colors, I'm using Cadmium Red Light. So I'm going to take this color and I'm going to put it right here. Now as you see here, there is a magenta in this set and you can add some white to make a medium magenta. And I just have a medium magenta already mixed up, so I'm going to use this. Then I have my primary yellow. It can be cadmium yellow or you can use yellow medium azo. I can use these two colors to mix a more yellow orange, or I can use my yellow orange right here. So this is my vivid red orange. Then I have my brilliant blue. This is also a primary blue. And I'm going to put it right here. So if I take these two colors, I will make my emerald green. Or I can just grab my emerald green and add it to my palette. Then I can work on my brilliant yellow green. Or I can take my yellow and add just a little bit of green to it, and it goes a long way. Then I need to add white, and then I would take some of this white and add it in here until I reach that lemon color, lemon lime. The next color is Cobalt Turquoise. If I needed to, I could mix taking some blue and a tiny bit of yellow and match that color. So now I'm just missing the purple if I want to use purple in my painting, and this is Quinocridone Blue Violet, so I could just use my Quinocridone Magenta and my blue to make this color. And the color that we're using is a little bit lighter than that. Okay, a little bit of white in that purple, and I've matched it. It doesn't matter that you get these colors exactly right. They just need to be close. So I can go ahead and add some white to this, and it has just a little bit of green in it. So that's more of the color right there. Use this blue, and I'm going to lighten it quite a bit. So just cover your entire background. Don't worry about your brush strokes being smooth or perfect or anything like that. Just play and have fun. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my round brush and I'm going to start sketching where I want to place these oranges. And I'm going to use purple. So just like the lemons, I'm going to go past the canvas so I can make the little star thing at the end. I'm going to do some overlapping of shapes, and I'm going to add one right here. So the composition is one of those important things that I teach in my art lessons. This time I'm going to put a little thing on the end like that. So I'm going to put one right here. Just a round shape, doesn't have to be perfect. Create this one going back behind it. Then I'm going to have this stray one coming down here. One right through here. And just one right beside it. Make this one touch and just be like that. So go ahead and copy this composition. But I want to be very random with my leaves because this is nature and nature is random. So I want to make some random shapes not perfect shape. So this one I'm gonna go with kind of this triangular and then have it come down. So this is the stem, this leaf, and falling down to a point. A leaf right through here, maybe even touching that other one, and going over this stem, and another one next to it. So a lot of overlapping of shapes, and that creates the 3-dimension. So I'm going to have this leaf right here. It's coming off into this. Small little leaf right there. Try to make sure that I have the branches through here. They're going to follow this, come in between like that. A leaf right here, a big one, and then one kind of breaking that up a little bit. So you can copy all this if you want, or you can just place your leaves around. You don't have to get everything exactly the same as me. So the flowers are usually where another orange would start to grow, and overlapping of shapes is important. So I'm going to go down to my detail brush just because it'll be easier to handle. And I didn't make these flowers perfect. I'm just kind of giving an idea of where I want them to go. And some of them will be faced this other direction. And some of them you'll want to be overlapping some dark areas that aren't dark yet because we haven't made them dark, but I can mark it. So you don't have to place all your flowers right now, but just give yourself an idea of where you would like some of these to go and what shape they are. And again, it doesn't have to look like a perfect little flower right now. And anything you want to take off, you just take it off. So if you want to get the reference photo to help you paint along, go ahead and click right here, because some of this I will keep and some of it I won't. So you can just kind of see a little bit better when you have the reference photo. And you don't have to copy every little thing, just so you know, but it helps you get an idea and just gives you a little bit of inspiration to be able to see that. Alright, so now I'm going to grab my round brush and I'm going to put it in the orange. So I want it clean. I'm just going to come in here with this middle orange first. And I'm going to leave some of that purple, but I'm going to come up to the edge here. So this paint is transparent, you can see. It's not covering completely. So you'll be able to see brush marks and that purple underneath. And we'll be adding some more layers, so don't worry about it being perfect. So I'm just going to take some time to fill in my oranges with this orange color. So go ahead and fill in all of your oranges. You don't need to see every one of my brush strokes. Just have fun being creative. So now I'm going to do the same thing with the leaves. I'm going to fill it in, and I'm going to start with my lime because it's a transparent color. And it's going to show some of that purple. I'm just going to get it in, fill in those spots, and leave some of the purple. So go ahead and fill in your leaves with this lime color. Now I'm going to take my white and fill in where these flowers are. I can make them bigger if I want. I can add more if I want. I could put some on top if I want. And I'm going to make the petals just a little bit longer. Then I'm going to do a couple of buds. Okay, so put in some flowers in some random spots. and have fun with it. I like to just come in here with just a little bit of purple and go around, add branches coming with it in the middle, little dots. Kind of got some round things in the middle too. Now I'm going to add some more to those leaves and the stems. So I'm grabbing my green here. So I'm adding in the greener area of the leaves. So I'm going to choose what part I want to have the lime and which part I want to have the green. And I can even drag some of that color over to darken it. Just kind of depends on what you want, where you want the shadow, where you want the light. It's also okay to fill in the whole thing if you want. You can also take mixes of your lime and your green and add it in there so you have some middle tone. So I'm going to go ahead and add some middle tone right through here. And I can also grab some of this blue and put that in there as well. Just kind of depends on what you want, but see how it gives it another added dimension there. Adds in some more dark. So let's just go from one to the other and play around for a little bit. So what you're doing basically is you're adding some of that green in some of the areas. And then some of the blue in some of the areas of your leaf. And your eye will make sense of it. So while that dries, grab your brush and you're going to add another layer of orange onto your oranges. So what you're doing right now is you're creating some light and some shadow in some areas. So I'm just going to come in here and add some spots of the darker orange. And I'm going to let it have some texture. See how I just left that? Just with some spots. And grab that orange again and go to the next one. And this one you might want to put more emphasis on some of the areas like the light shining on it. So you're adding basically the shadow and the light areas. So maybe I want to add a little bit more right through here on this orange. Be playful and loose with it. Like I said, your eye will say this is okay, this is alright, and if it doesn't, then you can always change it. See how it's starting to have a little bit more dimension. Now the next thing to do is to add the next color. So you would think, well, that's going to be your orange, but what you're going to do is you're going to take that orange and you're going to mix it with your yellow. Get kind of an orangey yellow. You can go as far as you want towards the yellow. So where the light is shining, that's where you're going to focus. And the light's going to be bouncing all over these things because some of it's going to be shadowed from other things, so like the leaves. I'm just going to add a little bit of the light right here and around this. So I can look at my oranges right now and see what they look like. See that there's that color and there's this medium color and there's going to be white on it, and it kind of stays in one little area. So it's going to do this, and then you're going to take some white, almost pure white, but don't wash out your brush, and then you have your light shining off of it. See how that works? And you can just add a little bit in this area. And you can adjust how much contrast you want. So if that's too strong, it will dry darker, but you can always come in here and lighten it and blend it and soften it. And you can always come in here and you can add a little purple in this spot, or maybe you want to add a little bit of green because it's kind of got a green tint to it. You can do that. And you can go on this outside here. Maybe you want to make it a little darker. Or for me, I need to kind of add a little bit more. See how it kind of comes out here? I want to add just a little bit better of an outline here. So that's how you're getting dimension with these. You're choosing the light source and you're making the light bounce off of it in just whatever area you want. Trying to come together. We've got this other green to put in. This turquoise green. Gives it another little bit on the leaves. Another layer to add dimension. So I'm going to go over some of the areas with this green. And with the detail brush, I'm going to come in and add it to the stems. So if you find that you have a little bit too big of stems in some areas, you can just come in with the background color since you didn't do a precise background and just go over some of the area. You can even come up next to your leaves and kind of make them a little softer. Come up against some of these, maybe you need to do that. And with this color, I like to go over around some of my flowers just to make them a little more precise. And inside my flower, around some of my oranges. Don't be afraid to make little notches where they're connecting, or covering up some of this purple is fine too. I'm just going to take my yellow, and if you're using cadmium yellow, you might want to add a little water to it. And then this just brightens it up in some areas and kind of softens it. So you can just go over some of the areas and see how that really brightens it up. So you can have it more pastel-y or you can have it more saturated. It just depends on your style. And then I'll do the same thing with the line. So I'll take that and put it in some of the areas on the leaf. This again adds another layer, so it just makes it look a little bit more realistic and have more dimension. Gives it another color. See how that just kind of adds to it. And then anytime I want to like maybe add a little bit more detail, maybe add a little more of the purple, I just go through and just do things based on how I feel. Play around. Anytime I want to add in more purple, I can for like the shadow area. Add some of this magenta if you'd really want, and that'll brighten it. See how that brightens it? So if you want more earthy tone colors, don't do that. I really like it, so I'm going to add a little bit in several spots of my painting. So fun to just see how the layers come together to make it into something so cool. And the finishing details are all about you deciding what you want. This last step is all about getting it as detailed as you want. So you can keep it impressionistic like I had it, or you can start looking at your tangerines or your oranges and copying some of the details in. So I'm copying the texture here and creating light around it and making it pop with the more details. And these flowers need to connect somewhere, and this can be like up over here and the flower can be connecting to that. So I'm making sense of all this, and I'm creating a little bit more of a darker area where I feel like it needs to be darker. So for example, like right here, and then it's going to connect right here, so there's going to be connecting type knob, and then it comes over here. And then if I want to, I can outline this just a little bit better. Instead of making it impressionistic, I can make it a little bit more realistic by doing that. And then I can add a little bit of color in there. I could even add orange inside of the flower. So say I want this right here to be more noticeable, I could outline that or add something, some dark element right there. Or I want the lines to be crisper around this flower, I can go in and take my white and make that crisper around the edge. So it's up to you as far as if you want it to be more impressionistic or more realistic as an orange. I like to find my happy medium right between, and so I add in a little bit of shadow area, a little bit of details, and then I call it good. That's just my personal style. So I can't give you all the little brush strokes that I'm giving here because this is where your creativity comes in. Now if you want to get my reference photo, go ahead and click right there, and that will kind of help you have an understanding of where I'm putting things, but you don't have to directly copy them. That's the thing. This is the time to just play a little, and anything you add, you can simply take off. It's so easy. Just take some water and lift it off, or soften it. So I'm just softening it with some water here. I feel like it has too much of that yellow color, then I can come in here with this brush and easily soften it and move up that yellow. This is just the part where you look at your painting and you discover what is bothering you and what do you want to stand out and what do you want to soften. And all these things I teach you to kind of have an eye for your own art in my art lessons. I'm not going to teach you just one style in those because you're going to have your own preferences in your own style, and that's important in art to have that. So the other day I got out my gel printing plate and showed my members how to do that, because these things just expand our options as an artist. Knowing how to do all this stuff, knowing if we want to do all this stuff. Go ahead and take it as far as you want and then sign your work. I hope you had just as much fun as I. Not only does it help you out by letting you know when I make a new video, to hit that subscribe button, the bell next to it, it also helps out my channel so I can keep making these tutorials for you. So thank you for subscribing. If you're wanting to learn more about art, go ahead and sign up for my weekly art lessons right over here. And you can watch more videos if you like, and I'll see you in my next video.